Well, welcome to the show, Ryan Shewchuk, a creative force in shaping the digital landscape of Midland, Texas. Owner of 40 Wolves Studios, you've built one of the region's most innovative boutique video podcast spaces, a studio known for quality, atmosphere, and the ability to turn ideas into meaningful, high impact content. Your expertise spans social media marketing, advertising, video production, editing, content strategy, and strategic planning, making you a true all rounder in modern digital communication. Deep knowledge in paid advertising, SEO, analytics, and social media measurement. You bring artistry and strategy to every project you undertake. Since launching 40 Wolves Studios in 2021, you've transformed it into a collaborative hub where creativity thrives and brands find basically their voice. It's fantastic to have you back on the show. Obviously, you know the show very well, Ryan, from how it began to where it is now. It's so great to have you on the show with us, and please do tell us more.
Well, first of all, thank you, Tom, for that amazing intro. I'll send you money. I'll PayPal you or Venmo you.
That's cool.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. I'm glad to be back. Thank you, Dad, for inviting me on the show. For all who don't know, Skyler's my dad's, and I'm excited to be here. I just wanted to say that, it's been a wild ride here in Texas. I grew up in Las Vegas, so I've been here in Texas now for 5 years. And really, I have a marketing background, digital marketing background. And once I got here, I really just kind of fell in love with the podcasting scene and started a podcast with my wife, Tara, called Best of Midland, here in Midland, Texas. And really, that just got me excited about producing podcasts and the editing side and all of the things, not just hosting. And probably a year after or so, maybe 18 months later, I started to get people who wanted to become clients, wanted me to produce a podcast for them. And so that's really just what sparked the demand to open Midland's first and only, I think, podcast studio here. And I've had the privilege of, producing hundreds of episodes, dozens of podcasts. These days, I've kind of consolidated a bit. I can't produce 25 podcasts at a time. It's too much. These days, I'm really working on maybe 4, 5, 6 at a time with some of the larger clients in town, like some energy companies, a company called Diamondback Energy. They're a huge force in the oil and gas industry. Midland, Texas, for those who are across the pond, it's a big oil and gas energy part of the country, one of the biggest producers of oil and gas, natural gas here. And like other clients like the hospital, I started a podcast with the local hospital here to just really talk about all of the innovative things they're doing here in Midland. At the end of the day, I just like to promote the good things and the cool things that are going on here that many people might not know, especially if they're moving into town, or even if they've lived here their whole lives. Work with a number of nonprofit organizations these days. That's really a lot of my clientele. I've really just found that I really like working with nonprofits, really just helping further their missions, whether it be, helping with the homeless or, foster kids or, those who are impoverished, the education system and things like that here. So that's really what's been filling my cup lately is really just helping those get their story out and get their awareness to their organization.
You're working with athletes, you're working with musicians, and all kind of people. Are you enjoying all this happening?
Yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, I really get to talk with everybody here in town. Just like you've said, I mean, I've worked with, a new indoor sporting arena, talking about youth sports. I work with the former mayor on his podcast. I do some things with the current mayor of town. So I really get this avenue of really working with influential people here in town that I normally wouldn't have any sort of connection with, but I'm very grateful that I've gotten to make the relationships that I have. I'm a really social person. I like to talk, as you can probably tell, which is why I host a podcast and produce podcasts. But I've learned a lot, and so that's what really gives me a leg up when people want to know how to start a podcast or how to market and grow a podcast. I can really let them know because I host my own and market my own.
Yeah, indeed.
What was that thing? What's the guy named Kean from Saturday Night Live?
Oh yeah, Keenan Thompson. Yeah, last year, the local Boys and Girls Club here in the Permian Basin, it's called the Permian Basin, they invited me to host, let's say, a fireside chat with Saturday Night Live's Keenan Thompson. So he flew into Midland, and it was a big fundraising event for the Boys and Girls Club. Okay. And yeah, we got to really chat for a good. It was probably an hour and a half. We were just on stage, and I got to basically interview him and just ask him things about his life and how he got started in the entertainment industry, and everybody on the crowd wanted to know about Good Burger and all of his Mighty Ducks 2 and all the fun things that he's done in the past 30, 40 years. Really nice guy. We're exact same age, so we really got to connect on a number of things. And I think he's originally from Atlanta. So I was like, hey, I have a sister in Atlanta. And so, yeah, we got to connect on a number of things. And yeah, it was really fun. Really good time.
Wow. Tom?
I just wanted to know, knowing a little bit more about your background, Ryan, you kind of started in the kind of digital marketing kind of stuff like that. And why was it just because you felt there was a niche kind of, nobody was doing the podcasting thing and hosting it and doing it for other entities? Is that why you moved into podcasting, or why that shift from the kind of website building and the digital marketing and stuff over to solely doing the podcast? What was your thoughts and strategy behind that?
Well, yeah, I've been in digital marketing. I mean, I started as a graphic designer back in the late 90s, eventually into web design and, all the things in digital marketing, really sort of carving my path. I used to run social media for a company called Vegas.com, which is one of the largest entertainment booking websites for hotels and things like that. And so I was really accustomed to the social media landscape. And in moving here to Midland, it was the smallest city that I had ever lived in. And my wife is from here, which is how we ended up here. And I didn't know the energy landscape. I didn't know anything about oil and gas. And I ended up creating a website called Best of Midland to really just give awareness to locally owned businesses. Because I just thought, like, I'm not from here. We like to support locally owned businesses. And I thought it was a way to just get more awareness to those businesses. At the time, at the end of the pandemic, the global pandemic, podcasting had really taken hold because, many, let's say, celebrities or influential people, comedians or whatever, they couldn't travel as much as they used to. So, spawned podcasts, especially on YouTube, which I really focus on YouTube. And so I thought just one as a way to just provide extra value to local businesses and nonprofits and events and things like that. I told my wife, why don't we spawn a podcast where we can interview the local business owners or the mayor or whomever. And honestly, just because I was new here, it was really a way for me to just get to introduce myself to people.
Get to know people. Yeah.
Get to know people while at the same time providing them value, right? I was like, pretty much just my quote unquote pitch was, it doesn't cost anything to come on my podcast. You don't really know who I am, but I get to be introduced to who you are. You get to be introduced to who I am. And at the same time, kind of giving you a way to promote your business or your event, sort of like what you guys do here, right? It's like you have on your guests and they get to talk all about their organizations and their missions. And it's just providing a great way of, they get value out of the conversation. I get value out of the conversation. I also get a ton of great content out of that, which I can use for social media and video and all the things. And so honestly, it was just like, it was an easy way for me to introduce myself to the community, because I ultimately knew that even when the cameras turn off, I'm still going to run into these people. I'm still going to go to your restaurant. I might see you at the grocery store. You're going to see me around town. And I really just wanted a way to familiarize myself and really just market myself to the local communities here. And so I recognize that I tell people these days, starting a podcast has so many benefits, even outside of just the video and the YouTube and the social media clips and things like that. Like, it's a great way for, especially if you're a business owner or you have something to sell, like, you can have on guests that are in your business, or maybe it complements your business, where you're sort of looked at as an expert in your industry. You get to make them look like they're an expert in their industry. And heck, even when you turn off the cameras and you're walking out the door, I mean, you're going to form some sort of relationship that might help, further your business. So I just looked at it as a great way to, sort of market yourself and your business, period.
What's the music community like?
I mean, it's very heavy country western here. There's a decent hip hop scene here. I've definitely produced podcasts for local hip hop artists and things like that. I don't do it as much just because the music scene is always looking for multiple ways, and a lot of the times it's hard to showcase the music itself on a podcast, right? Versus just conversations. But I've definitely had conversations with music venues. I have a really good relationship with a local music venue here to help them promote upcoming artists. And I've had on, like I said, local artists on my Best of Midland podcast to really just kind of talk about, what touring dates they have, or really just introduce themselves to the public. But I mean, yeah, it's a pretty thriving scene. It's hard sometimes because, they kind of want to play the music, and my studio isn't really set up like a recording studio. Yeah. So it's funny though, because on Google, when people are Googling, a recording studio, my studio comes up, but Google doesn't really know the difference between a music recording studio or a podcast studio. Yeah. And so probably 2 or 3 times a week, I'll get a phone call for somebody looking to record their album or some songs. And I'm like, oh, sorry guys, it's not a music recording. I don't have I don't have a booth, and I don't have a big, all the fun faders and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And honestly, there's not a recording studio here in Midland. So if somebody wants to open one up,
there you go.
You're going to have a ton of business. Yeah, you're going to have a ton of business here. Like there's definitely creatives here that, will produce and film music videos and those types of events. And then obviously filming, the local outdoor concerts and things like that. I used to do those things. I just kind of ended up finding my sort of niche, and it's in the podcasting realm these days, at least.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So Tara's doing it with you, and you guys are a tag team on the show?
Yeah, on our Best of Midland show, we sort of act as host, co-host type of area, just because I think we really complement each other very well when we're interviewing guests. Yeah. Like many times when it's a guest who, let's say they, they have like a local, like nutritional type of service or something like that, or med spa or something like that. There's going to be definitely times where Tara knows a lot more about that industry and is going to have providing, those type of questions that might resonate more with women and things like that. And so, yeah, we definitely have a lot of fun. She can't, because of her schedule, she can't host every show, and that's fine. We've sort of taken a little bit of a hiatus this past year, just because honestly, I just got so busy producing other people's podcasts that it was hard to produce my own. And so I really just say that, hosting a podcast, as you guys know, you guys have hundreds of episodes. I mean, you obviously know that hosting a podcast is it's not just easy. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work. You have to research your guests, and you have to, do the editing and stuff like that. And so if anybody knows how hard it is to produce it and how hard it is to be consistent week in and week out, I mean, you guys definitely are a model for people out there, because, rain or shine, you guys are producing podcasts. My, Dad, you'll tell me the number of episodes you've had, and I'm like sitting there going like, I'm still a couple years from getting hundreds of episodes. But this summer I really want to, I'm redesigning and relaunching Best of Midland, the website, and having an email newsletter and the social media and the podcast. So I'm really just trying to focus on the fact that, like, I know that I'm really good with promoting my own brand. Yeah. I'm really good with helping other clients, but there is something about like owning your own brand, just like you do with, Music for Global Change versus, helping others with their own. There is just something a little bit, more rewarding when it's just, you have to be able to make the time to do it. And so I've really just started to, all right, I got to make the time. I got to cut back on the number of clients that I have and really focus on what I love to do, which is really promote the cool things that are going on here, like I said, especially the people who just don't know, about West Texas. I mean, Texas is such a big state for those out there who maybe don't live in the United States. Obviously, Texas is huge, and you could drive for 16 hours and still not make it all the way across Texas. It's like, and so there's a lot going on, but there's a section that we are here in West Texas, which isn't as known as the bigger cities like Dallas or Houston or Austin. So I'm really just trying to get more eyeballs and more visibility to this area of the country.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with the concept 40 Wolves?
Honestly, I get asked this question all the time, and I guess I should come up with like a really cool story, but really the fact of the matter is that I think I was turning 40 years old, and I recognized that I buy up a lot of .coms over the last like 15 years. If I think of a cool name, I usually try to figure out, well, is there a website? Is there a .com that I can buy? Is there an Instagram? Is there a Facebook? And that sort of determines whether or not, like, I might not even use the web. I have dozens of websites that I just have the name. They don't actually have a website, just because I think there's value in having that brand affinity. And so I had that domain. I had just purchased it. And when I came here and I was recognizing that I was going to start my own marketing company, I literally just went through the list of .coms that I own, and I was like, all right, 40 wolves. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like I have wolves tattooed on me. I was 40 years old. I was like, all right, that has a good like, flow to it. And so I was just like, all right, I'll use that. But yeah, I mean, there's no like true, like cool, it came to me in a dream or something like that. I was just like, I don't know. My wife hates it because I buy up all these names all the time. And she's like, why do you own all of these? You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, they're $10 a year, $12 a year. I could probably let most of them go, but I don't know. I guess they kind of grow on me, and I thought it would be a cool logo and cool name and stuff like that. It kind of just stuck.
I like it. Tom?
I was going to ask, it's your podcast is Best Midland, Texas. How much of, if you can answer this, how much of Midland, Texas have you publicized, or have you interacted with, as far as how many more businesses, how many more kind of areas you haven't gone into that you think, okay, well, we haven't talked to anybody from this line of business? And do you go out and find them, or is it very much still organic, where people come to you and go, well, hey, I've seen some of your broadcasts, you've publicized these people, can we have a podcast with you? How does that work for you?
Yeah, a couple questions there. I mean, these days, when it was really humming and I was doing a weekly show, I would get a lot of organic traffic, basically inquiries, because I guess my value is, again, with my social media background, I'm the guy who knows how to get the eyeballs to the content. I just so happen to own the cameras and stuff like that. But like, nobody's hiring me to film a Netflix documentary, right? I'm not that skilled with videography and audio and stuff like that. I just happen to know I know what works on social media. And so the social media clips would really drive the notoriety of the show and really just put my face in people's feeds and their algorithms, right? And so ultimately, like, people would reach out and go like, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast. So much so that I'd go like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to create like a waiting list or something, because it was really, I would, at any given time, I would have well over like 100 people wanting to come on the show. And I just go like, hey, one, I don't make any money from the show right now, and I can only record like once a week sometimes. And so, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of had to juggle that a little bit. On top of that, people would be like, can you just help me do what you're doing? Like, they kind of see the like, hey, you get tens of thousands of views on your social media clips. Seemingly, it looks like you know what you're doing. And so I'd be like, yeah, I can help you, because most people, they didn't know that I'm a marketer when they came on my show. Like, I didn't pitch them anything. I wasn't trying to sell them anything. I was just like, I want to have a good conversation. So the other side, so these days I'm a little bit more, I don't know if the right word is, picky, I guess, on guest selection, only just because I only have so much time to do it. Yeah. If I could host my show 5 days a week and make a living from it, I would 100% do it. That's my dream. I would love to do this show 5 days a week. I'm not there yet. Yeah. And so these days I sort of book guests honestly based on like 3 criteria. The first one is the cameras could have been turned off. I could have forgot to hit record. I honestly just wanted to meet that person and get a face-to-face with that individual, because I know, like I said, I either run into that person a lot, or they're highly influential. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to form a relationship at one time. And I'm sitting there going like, most people, they're nervous to come on a podcast probably because they never have, but they're sitting there going like, when I tell them like, I'm here to just make you look good and promote your business, they're kind of like, it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, okay, yeah, sure. Right. Yeah, and then the other sort of criteria is, you kind of touched on it a little bit, is if there's a certain topic that I really want to talk about. Right. And here's the thing, for me, it doesn't have to be limited to Midland, Texas per se. The example could be like, just a trending topic, or just a really like interesting topic, like the Ozempic diet craze or something, right? Like, if I know that type of conversation is likely to get more views on YouTube, because a lot of people are searching for it, then I'll just kind of reach out to the local, business owners or whoever to kind of go like, hey, on social media, I'll kind of go, hey, I want to have an upcoming podcast about so-and-so topic. Who would like to do it? Obviously, like, they have some expertise in it, right? And then that's another way that I'll sort of book guests, right? Because obviously I want to get to know them, but the topic is more of the importance, because I know what people are going to click on, essentially, right? And then the third one, which I think is utilized probably in the larger podcasts on YouTube and things, because obviously it's like celebrity interviewing a celebrity and things like that, is really just that guest has more notoriety, is bigger influence than what I have, right? And it's like, you're famous, or you have 500,000 subscribers on YouTube or on Instagram, come on my show, right? Because it's like, now we get to scratch each other's back. You get to come into my ecosystem. I get to be introduced into your ecosystem. A lot of the times it's more, favored, to me than it is to them. But again, that's how you form those relationships. And so those are really the 3 sort of areas that I tend to focus on, because again, I don't have a global podcast. I don't have a national podcast. It's called Best of Midland. So I'm not talking about things that are going on in South America or Europe or, even California or whatever, New York. So it is a little bit limited, and Midland's not a huge city by any means, but I just realized that, I don't know, the conversations feel a little bit more real if I'm not trying to like talk about things that I just don't know about, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, but at the same time, I will give myself a little bit of pat on the back. Our YouTube channel is closing in like on 1 million views. It'll probably hit 1 million views here shortly. And so, and that's just with my face that nobody knows, and my wife on a podcast. We're not the Kardashians, and we're not Skyler Jett. You know what I mean? And so, but I'm trying. You know what I mean? And really like I said, it's really just it's more relationship building than anything these days.
Listen, thank you. I love you so much, son. Thanks for coming on this. Spreading the love.
Of course.
Of this whole podcast ecosystem thing and stuff like that, and it's way cool. And thanks for coming on. I really appreciate that. And Tom's gonna, he's gonna show some love on not just your podcast, but what you're doing.
We'll get some socials from you, Ryan. I don't know if you've got any kind of sort of social info you can give us here. What we'll do, obviously, is put the links in the description here for people. You can go out and check the podcast out and check out what you do. And
I appreciate it, guys. Like I said, keep doing what you guys are doing. I mean, you're literally, the global change. And so, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Thanks for having me on. I love helping out whenever I can. But like I said, you guys are really a model to, you're not a high budget show. You're not like in Hollywood or anything like that, but week in and week out, you guys are providing a ton of value to these international singer-songwriters, people and producers in the music industry. And so, just keep doing what you're doing, because people are definitely taking notice. And like, as a way to just tell people out there, like, you have to be consistent, and you're not just going to blow up overnight. You know what I mean? Sometimes it takes hundreds and hundreds of episodes, but you just keep going at it, because over time people will take notice, and you can achieve your dreams and further your mission.
Nice one.
they're starting to, and it's really wonderful how people are, just pushing the word out there about
Oh yeah.
about the movement. So we're over the moon for it. All the best.
Right.
Okay.
All right. You guys have a great day.
Okay.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.